Why clutter your mind with information that's not going to help your trading? So asking why is something that many people ask, but they don't know how to implement the answer into their trading. So let's use an example of something that many people are quite familiar with, crude oil. Now then I want to show you when why is a great question. Now this chart clearly shows that crude has been falling in price for quite a while. So what is causing the drop? Now you can certainly go into geopolitical factors, but at the end of the day, generally less demand for oil and a larger supply causes cheaper prices. To get more in depth, it's quite easy to suggest that the oil-producing nations will slow production, lower supply, and that may cause buying pressure to kick in. So does that help you in your trading? Now it made my in-laws think I was a lot smarter than I am, but for trading, it doesn't do anything for me. I'm going to see events change in the price before I will be able to decode all the intricacies that may make price move in the other direction. So in my opinion, why makes much more sense when asking, why should this work? As you search out any trading method, knowing why it should work is of paramount importance. It just does is not really an answer that I can quantify nor feel very confident that there's going to be consistency. This chart here, it shows a simple moving average crossover and a buy stop above the bar that caused the flip. Moving average crossovers, it's still a pretty popular trading method, but the question is, why should it work? All that's happened is the average of X number of bars has increased, which has caused the cross. Now, is there any reason that should have caused an increase in buying pressure? Is there any secret moving average to use? Why should this crossover trigger an imbalance big enough to move the market? Well, I can't answer that. So hanging my trading future hat on this type of method when I have no clue as to the why it should work would be a mistake. Now, how about trading support and resistance levels? This is another very popular method of trading. So why should they work? We read that these levels are closely monitored and can set up high probability trades depending on the levels. Now, people love to trade around these levels. So let's see how well this works. This random chart has several areas marked off, and full disclosure, this is after the fact. In A, support breaks and price retests from the underside. B, price bounces nicely off this level, and while counter trend, it's 200 pips. In C, price rallies and bounces off resistance for a 115 pip move before price rallies. D, another resistance bounce and price drops over 400 pips. Now there were other areas I did not mark off, such as between A and B, but the chart would have gotten pretty cluttered. But as you can see here, pretty nice moves that all offered up some really good profits. So seeing this chart and the profits that could have been made, there are a lot of people that would pay for the secret of finding these levels inside of previous data and extend it out to the hard right edge. Let's just scroll to the left and we'll see if these same lines had previously been used. Well, you can clearly see that these levels were used previously as well. Now the fact is, I don't know why these levels worked so well. Now these levels were found with a highly scientific and number crunching method. I closed my eyes. I picked a random chart and I just dropped random lines on it. Then I opened my eyes to see what I got. The whole chart is random. Random lines got bounced. There really is no reason why price should have bounced at these levels, some right to the pip. So if there's no reason, I have to ask, where's the edge? Random lines provided great trading opportunities. These levels even had multiple touches in the past, which is one thing you look for in determining support and resistance levels. This means that others may have determined these levels to be strong. For me, I don't see an edge that can be exploited consistently. I also don't see why big money would come in at these random levels and just move the market. All is not lost though, because in a future post, I am going to touch on the why of certain areas that will usually show an imbalance that can lead to some decent trading.